Hello, my friend. How are you today?
Hello, Hunter. I always love when you give me introductions. It makes me sound very cool.
You are very cool. I'm
Thank
just
you.
I'm just reading off the facts here,
All
ma'am.
right. I appreciate it very, very, very much.
Well, I'm here if you need me in the background, and
Sounds
I'm
good.
excited to listen.
Great. All right. Well, we're going to kick things off today, perfectly appropriate for the virtual job fair tomorrow to get prepped for that. But we're going to start off by talking about how to create a skills-based resume. So, um, first, I just want us to be in the mindset of this is a workshop. We are going to go through this together. I'm going to share some very practical examples of how to do this. And so if you have a pad and some paper or and a pencil or your phone notes, go ahead and start taking notes because this is going to be super helpful. So before we dive in, I have a question. Have you ever felt like your job titles didn't actually reflect your skill set? I know I have. I've worked in several different industries from academia to marketing and diversity and inclusion here at PowerToFly. And I feel like a simple job title like marketing manager, it doesn't tell the full story. So, for example, I'm a marketing manager and I am proficient in different marketing tools, in CRMs, in SEO, etc. And I've also acquired people and project management skills. And then my skill set has even expanded to things like public speaking and presentations. But the simple title, marketing manager, doesn't exactly put my skills on show. It doesn't capture everything that I want it to. And that's why a skills-based resume is so necessary. So let's talk about what a skills-based resume is. It's also known as a functional resume. You might hear that, especially on the corporate side. But essentially, it focuses on your abilities and your competencies rather than your work history. So instead of listing your jobs in chronological order, it's a different format of resume that groups your experience under key skill categories like project management, data analysis, customer service, or whatever. And it shows how you've applied those skills across your different roles. So it's the same thing. It serves the same purpose as a traditional resume. It's just formatted differently to be able to showcase your skills. And so let's take a look at what this looks like in practice. So here we have the traditional resume on the left and the skills-based resume on the right. You can't really see too clearly what it is, but it doesn't exactly matter. So on the left, we have the traditional resume. As you know, it highlights your career progression, which is great for folks who are like climbing the career ladder and they really want to show that career progression. Usually it's listed in reverse chronological order. So your most recent job title is at the top, and then your past job experiences will be in descending order. And then it showcases your job duties and your responsibilities. So all of the things that you're responsible for during that job. On the other hand, you have the skills-based resume, which focuses more on your abilities and it puts them at the front and center, making it easier for hiring managers to see how you will actually fit inside of a role. So this is especially helpful if your past job titles don't exactly match or directly match with what you're looking to grow into. And yeah, this is something that is increasingly important and gaining popularity. So here at PowerToFly, in case you don't know, we spend a lot of time talking to both community members, so professionals throughout all different industries, as well as our clients and companies who are looking for top talent. So we recently just did a survey with over 1,000 professionals from all over the globe, trying to understand what exactly it was that they wanted from the workplace. And in that same fashion, we speak to companies to understand exactly what it is that they need from talent. And one of the trends that we've been seeing over the past 6 months to a year really is that the market is evolving. The job market is changing, and employers are prioritizing skills over linear career progression. So, what does that mean? Um, I don't know if you all have seen, but the past 2 years have been full of layoffs, rounds and rounds of layoffs. Hundreds of thousands of people have lost their jobs because companies need to get rid of or reduce their workforces in order to stay afloat. But that means that the remaining teams that are working inside of those workforces need to be extremely, extremely skilled. So they need to do more with fewer people. And how is that done? Well, that's done by hiring extremely talented and skilled professionals. And so we can't have any mediocreness going on around here. The name of the game is skills. So keeping that in mind, let's talk about who benefits most from a skills-based resume. So honestly, my first mind is to just say everybody. I think everybody should have a skills-based resume, at least have that option, especially when there is a company who is doing skills-based hiring or has a skills-based workforce. But these are some of the main profiles that I think can absolutely benefit from it. So number one, we've got career changers. So anybody who's moving into a new industry like I was from academia to the corporate world, this type of resume allows you to showcase your skills rather than job titles in order to prove, I guess, that you are able and you have the skills to be able to carry out whatever job you're looking for. In this, along the same lines, we have freelancers and gig workers. So a lot of times, these types of people, these types of workers have a lot of really diverse experience and lots of different projects. And sometimes it can feel very non sequitur, non-linear. And so instead of grouping their experience together by projects, being able to group their experience by skill and then showcase those skills with different projects is a great way to kind of tell their skill story in a way that's coherent and linear. And then next, we've got recent grads. This is a huge population of folks who are looking to, break into the corporate world, but they might lack that job experience. However, I've been to college and, I know that I learned a ton of things in college and there's internships, there's labs, there's group projects, and there's a lot of opportunities to gain skills. And so another way that these skills-based resumes can help folks is by allowing them to showcase their skills rather than their jobs. And then lastly, we have people with employment gaps. So if you, were a caregiver or you were laid off and you had to take some time off of work, this will help take the focus off of that, chronological order where, for some reason recruiters find having a gap in your resume as a huge red flag, while when you're focusing on skills, it shows your competencies rather than like your time off. And then once again, I think everybody should have a skills-based resume, at least in their back pocket, in case they want to showcase their skills. I think ultimately it helps you tell your skills story differently. So it's focusing on what you can do, not just where you've been. So let's talk about how to build a skills-based resume. And this is a four-step process, and it's pretty straightforward. So let's get into it. The first step is to know your skills. And this seems pretty simple because obviously I know my skills. Once again, I'm a marketing manager, so I know SEO, people management, just I can list off the few skills that I have. But a lot of times we possess a lot more skills than we think that we do. So I recommend, number one, reviewing your resume, your current resume. What are the skills that are on there? Even if it's not listed as a skill, what are the items on there that stand out as competency, ability, skill? I also recommend that you do a skill audit. Now, you can do this a number of different ways, and I'll share one of my favorite ways to go about this. But essentially, this is a very deep dive into your skill set, and it should go beyond your work history. It can go into your education, into your daily life. What are the skills that you have as a person? And a lot of times, what I like to do is I like to focus on people skills, business skills, and technical skills so that we're looking at a wide range of types of skills rather than just our technical skills, which is what we often think about when we're thinking about skills in a resume setting. So this is a shameless plug, please forgive me, but my team created this amazing resource called Skill Meter, and it's a skills audit resource. So essentially, it takes you through step by step an entire skills audit so you can go through, identify the skills that you have, identify the skills that you need, and then also it will give you a personalized learning plan to bridge those skill gaps at the end. So once again, as I was mentioning before, it should go beyond your, work experience. Here, Skill Meter walks you through your interests, your values, your habits, your personal life, your communication skills and styles, your education, all of those things somehow contribute to your skills. So once you go through the entire process, you'll have a list of your skill set, which takes me to step two, which is to know the skills you need. So remember, I was telling you that these types of resumes are really great for folks who are transitioning. So, career industry transitioners or people with recent grads who are transitioning into the corporate world or people who are transitioning from not working to working. And so it's really important to know the roles that you're looking for and understand the skills that you need. And one way to do that is just to review job descriptions and look through every job description and say and note, the skills that are crucial for that role. And then you can also research industry trends to understand what companies or what are the most highly sought after skills nowadays. And I love using AI. Hunter does too. Hunter is my AI buddy. But one of the things that you can harness AI for is to figure out what skills you need. So here I just typed into ChatGPT, hey, I'm a salesperson with 5 years of experience looking to transition into customer success. Can you highlight the 10 top skills or the top 10 skills a customer success leader needs and highlight the transferable skills I can use to transition into the role? So this is sort of bridging the gap between the skills that you need for the role that you want and the skills that you have so that you can showcase them in your new resume. So let's see what ChatGPT did for me. Here, this is 5 out of 10 of the results that I got from ChatGPT, but clearly, very clearly, we've got relationship management, active listening, problem solving, empathy, project and account management. These are some great skills that both salespeople and customer success people can have, and it's a great opportunity to showcase your skills. So with that information, that takes me to step 3, which is to actually start creating the resume. So the first part of this is to headline with your skills. So once again, I always recommend kind of sectioning your skills out into the technical, business, and people skills. And so I took the 10 skills that ChatGPT gave me and just sectioned them out into the different types of skills. And this is just really helpful. You don't have to actually list out business skills, people skills, technical skills on your resume, but it's really helpful for you to try to sort of balance out those. So you can see here on the technical skills front, there's only one, but I'm sure that there are other areas of overlap. So my challenge would be to kind of maybe have 3 skills for each of the different categories to try to showcase a very well-rounded and balanced person. Next and final step is to drive with results. So this would be sort of the part where you're describing how you have applied those skills and showcase those skills in the real world. And so there's a lot of different ways to do this, but I really recommend highlighting your results using numerical figures. So increased organic traffic by 180% over 12 months. Those types of metrics are going to be really, really impactful when it comes to your resume. And then another thing is to use strong action-oriented language. So always using action verbs when you're describing what you do or what you did. And let's take a look at what that looks like in practice. So this is just 6 of the examples from before. And you can see relationship management, built rapport with prospects and nurtured client relationships. So here you can see that we're using that strong action-oriented language. We have built, asked, overcome, identified, educated, owned. And then you're highlighting the results. So you're showing exactly what you did. Something that would be really great in these examples would be to, once again, showcase the numbers to really, show how you've been able to the difference and the impact that you've been able to make with your work. And then we're gonna go ahead and just dive headfirst into how to build a skills-based resume and just, a quick thing. I love using ChatGPT. She's my best friend. She's a girl to me for some reason. And we're going to use ChatGPT and to create our skills-based resume. And it's a huge time saver. And it doesn't do all of the work for you, but it really does help you be more efficient, especially if you're in the situation where you need to be tailoring your resume to different job descriptions. So we're going to look at the first scenario, which is just converting your current resume into a skills-based resume. So the prompt is rewrite my resume as a skills-based resume, highlight my key skills, group experiences by competency rather than job titles, and ensure the language is optimized for ATS systems. My original resume is as follows, and then you would just paste your resume. So just for those of you who don't know, ATS systems are applicant tracking systems. So a lot of times when you're on LinkedIn or Indeed or whatever, and you submit a job application, the application will first, or your resume will first go through an ATS system. So it's basically a software that's looking through and scanning your resume for the keywords that are in the job description. And so you want to make sure that your resume is as optimized as possible for those types of situations. So I asked ChatGPT, I used the prompt, and then I just copied and pasted a sample resume for an admissions counselor. And my best friend, she said, hey, I've done it. Let me know if you would like any refinements. And this is what she spit out for me. Amazing. So I know this is a little bit small, and I'll zoom in a bit, but first I want you to see that there's a professional summary at the top. So we're able to see at a glimpse what the skills story for this person is. So what their skills are and how they use them. And then you can see that each of these little sections are separated by skills rather than jobs. So we have student recruitment and outreach, admissions counseling, application review, data management, event planning, and collaboration. This is a great start. So let's zoom in on these two and kind of examine exactly what's going on here. So let's see, the four sort of criteria about the strong skills-based resume is number one, leading with the skill. So at the top, we have the student recruitment and outreach and event planning and public engagement. So check, they've led with the skill. Now drove with the results. So you can see that we have all of the results here. These are all of the ways, the bullet points are all of the ways that I forgot that was me, yes, that I was able to showcase these skills. It asks us to use action verbs. So here we have designed, conducted, built, championed, organized, developed, delivered. These are amazing action verbs to really showcase the work that you're doing. And lastly, including metrics. And you can see here, designed and executed targeted recruitment initiatives that increased enrollment rates by X%, or engaged X% or X number of students annually. So this is a great start. Obviously, I didn't put in my actual resume, which would have numbers and metrics. So once you do put in your resume, you'll have a little bit more of a tailored, result. So now that we know how it works, let's take things a step further. So obviously we have the situation where you just want to convert your resume, your traditional resume, into a skills-based resume. And then we have the folks who are transitioning in their career and they want to convert their resume into a skills-based resume for a specific role. And when that's the case, we use a very similar prompt. I just introduce myself, and I let ChatGPT know that I need a skills-based resume for a specific role, and I just copied and pasted role. So I said, hey, I'm an admissions counselor with 8 years of experience. Please create a skills-based resume highlighting my transferable skills for the following role in sales. And then I just copied and pasted a random sales job description into the chat. And my girl came through once again and started with the professional summary. One thing I loved about this is that it shared where I'm at currently, who I am, where I'm at currently, the skills that I have, and then what I'm seeking to do and how my skills can help me with that that new change. So I'm seeking to transition into a role where I can leverage my communication, negotiation, and customer relationship skills to generate revenue and exceed targets. So this is a great start. Then she listed off 8 different skill sets and results that are transferable. So once again, having the skills that you need versus the skills that you have, and then trying to find as much overlap as possible between the two. So let's zoom in and see how she did. So once again, she led with the skill. We have presentation and persuasion and cross-functional collaboration. Next, drove with results. We have our results here, delivered presentations and worked with marketing, blah, 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 blah. So we did drive with our results. Something that I think that could work better is we could use some stronger verbs here. So instead of worked with marketing, whatever, I think we could say collaborated with our marketing team, or instead of delivered compelling presentations. I don't know. You can obviously zhuzh it up as you see fit, and that's exactly, that's why we're human, and AI is AI. So we have to obviously have some discernment over those things. And then I also think that there's an opportunity to include more metrics and results. And obviously, if I were to have put in my resume first and then asked it to do this, I would get a lot more specific results. So this is just something to keep in mind when building your resume. Now, so we know how to build our skills-based resume, and we know how to use ChatGPT to do so, but there are a couple of things to keep in mind. And some of these are going to be like a bit recappy, and some of it's going to be new. So we know that a skills-based resume is a format that emphasizes skills and competencies rather than focusing on your work history. And then we know that it's a great choice for job seekers or people with limited experience, or people who are changing fields or have non-traditional career paths, because then you're able to showcase your competencies and your abilities rather than the job role alignment. And then one of the questions we got in the chat was, can you combine a skills-based and chronological resume for a hybrid approach? Absolutely, yes. And I actually recommend doing this. So what you should do, in my humble opinion, is lead with skills. So you can start off with that personal skill summary, lead with your skills. That should take up a majority, let's say 3/4 of the page. And then at the end, by all means, include any previous work experience, especially if it's relevant. You can include certifications or languages, awards, honors, anything that's going to help you get the job, obviously. So that information is going to be helpful. It's going to be sort of like just a little boost, an auxiliary part that will help take your resume to the next level while still focusing on skills. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention is that you should tailor your resume to your target role by incorporating the key skills that are listed in the job description. So once again, don't be afraid to copy and paste that job description into ChatGPT or whatever AI, generative AI you use, and ask it to highlight the skills and share what the transferable skills from your current skill set are to be able to highlight that in a skills-based resume. Now, let's talk about what's next, actually. I think a lot of times we get really, really caught up on our resume, and our resumes are very important. Like I said, like first, it's like our first line of defense when we send our resume out into the abyss. If it doesn't get picked up by the right person, then you're never going to get the opportunity to interview. But your resume is only half of the battle. So once you do get that interview, once you do get in, you need to be able to articulate your skills story using words. So the resume story, the professional summary at the top of your resume is a great way to get started, but you need to be able to answer some key questions about how you acquired skills, who you are, and what you're looking to do with your skills, how you want to grow in your skill set, and how you think your skill set is appropriate for the role that you're searching for. So you might have to do some practice rounds, some questions before you actually interview, but this is a great way to sort of sell yourself in the best way possible. Now, if you stayed with me this entire time, thank you for listening to me ramble for almost 30 minutes. I really appreciate it. But I wanted to give you a gift. So if you are watching live or watching the recording, I am offering you a 15% discount on the Skill Meter Skills Audit resource. So if you want to go in and do your own personal skills audit, it's a super, super in-depth resource. You can go ahead and purchase it, and I think Samaya will be adding it into the chat so you can just go straight to it. It's at powertofly.com/up/skillmeter. And when you go to purchase, just type in the discount code that's right there, skill up 15, all in caps, and you'll get a 15% discount on that. So this is an amazingly useful research source. And I'm like biased, but I've done it myself. My entire team has done it. And from the feedback that we've gotten from our community members, it has been very helpful in helping folks identify their current skill set, their skill gaps, and then sort of bridge their skill gaps. So that's all I have for you today. Best of luck on your skills-based resume journey. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And my name is just Mara Gates, super simple, and I'll be happy to connect and answer any questions there.
Awesome, Mara. That was so great. I love hearing that. And we have a couple of minutes left, so I'd love to just chat with you for a few minutes. A
Sure.
few things came up with for me there. One, I love that you have a personality for your AI. I can
Oh
definitely
yeah.
identify. Oh yeah, have you named her?
No, I feel like that's a little weird.
Pronouns
Like
are
I
fine,
know
but a name that's
that
crossing the line.
yeah, it's absolutely crossing the line. The fact that it's a girl, I don't know, it's giving me feminine energy and I'm here for it.
Totally. Mine is definitely like a sassy queen, like at the
See?
end of the bar. He's seen a lot.
Exactly. I think it's like obviously it's like a reflection of you somehow. And
Totally,
I
100%.
can feel my energy reflected back to me. So
It
yes, my
does
AI
that.
is
Isn't
very
that
powerful.
interesting? Like the more you give your personality to it, it starts to talk like you.
Yeah, it's creepy. It's
Yeah.
creepy, but like all it's very great at the same time. So
Yeah.
not complaining.
Yeah, I know, right? It can be fun. And I also love that what you just walked us through is a great example of co-piloting with AI as opposed to
Mhm.
just say like, write a resume for me. And this way it's
Exactly.
like you're giving it really specific parameters of like, this is the structure that I want. And when you give it a specific task, it's read the entire internet. So it knows what you're talking about. But because
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
read the entire internet, it needs direction.
Yeah, it is, for me, it's just a huge time saver. It's not like I can't create a skills-based resume on my own. I'm sure I
Right.
could. It would take me mm, 200 times as long to do the same thing. And so I would absolutely use any sort of AI as my first stop and then go through using my brain, my super brilliant, amazing brain with lots and lots of experience to then tailor it to make it sound good, to sound like me, to sound professional.
Yeah.
Obviously, AI is not perfect. It's not going to be perfect ever. We're
Mhm.
not either, but we can at least, use our human discernment, which I think is very important, especially in the times that we're in right now to, make it your own. So that's super important.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, this has been so great, Mara. Always good to see you. I want to
Thanks
take
for
that
having me.
test. I want to take that test too and like
Do
find out what
it.
my skills are. So, yeah. And